In this video, I'm going to be going over exactly how much dividend income I made in the month of January from a $55,000 account. And to analyze this, we're going to be jumping into my do-it-yourself investor toolkit. We're going to be looking at my investment dashboard, my dividend dashboard, my dividend calendar, my daily dividend calendar, and also my portfolio projection tab. So there's definitely a whole lot to go over. So let's go ahead and jump into it. If you'd like to be able to download this spreadsheet, then you can head over to my Patreon page at the link in the description. I'd also like to quickly say thank you to Masterworks for sponsoring this video, but more on that later. But let's go ahead and come up here and we'll zoom in and look at some of the basics of the portfolio. You can see current value is around $55,000. I'm up about $1,320, but as a value dividend investor, a lot of the returns from my investment come in the forms of dividends. You can see with my dividends included, I'm up about $3,250, which is a gain of about 6%. And after a year where the S&P lost about 20% of its total value, that's a pretty good return. We can see the past month has seen a little bit of a bounce back, up about 6%, but 2022 was definitely a terrible year for the market. Let's go ahead and keep moving forward. If we come over here and scroll down, you can see my current allocation is about 75% in stocks. I'm still around 24.4% in cash, so I still have opportunities to buy more into the market if I see opportunities that I like. Now, something that I do want to talk about is right here. You can see my total holdings currently sitting at about 41. You're going to see this number drop by quite a bit in the coming months as I continue to reallocate some of the capital out of positions that I don't really believe in long term and reinvest those into positions that I do already have. If we come back over here, you can see a chart that's basically showing you my allocation by each individual stock. So for the most part, it's fairly well diversified. You can see I have a pretty large position in Microsoft at about 14.3%, a couple of ETFs both at around 9% as well. Coca-Cola is a fairly large position as well at around 4.6%. If we come down here, you can see my cost and market value. I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Again, big position of Microsoft right here, so obviously that's a large position, large positions in my ETFs. And if we come over here, you can see my growth chart. Now, my biggest gaining position is currently Caterpillar. I'm up about 45.62% on this investment. And most of the investments you see right here were made in 2022. So far, they're all performing extremely well, which is really great to see. Now, while short-term performance is really nice, I have a long-term mindset when it comes to my investments. So I'm investing in all of these companies for the long term and don't really plan on selling out of any of these positions. Now, if we come down here, we can see my stock allocation by individual industry. Technology is around 24.6%, finance is around 23.8%, and then the others again are fairly well diversified. My real estate position has increased a little bit over the past month. It's about 10.7%. You can see consumer defensive around 11.1%, ETFs about 9%, and consumer cyclical 9.4%. Now, the last thing we're going to glance out here is my future portfolio outlook. But we're actually going to come back and look at that just a little bit later in the video. Let's go ahead and jump back over to my dividend dashboard. And this is where we're going to see a lot of the things that people came here to see. And the first thing we'll talk about right here is you can see in the month of January, I made $154.10 in dividend income. My current expected yearly dividend income is starting to get very close to $2,000 per year. My all-time dividend income received is around $1,929, which makes my average monthly dividends around $163.98. And my current portfolio dividend yield has actually increased a little bit over the past couple of months. It's currently sitting at about 3.62%. Here's my portfolio value over time. You can see I started tracking this back in February of 2022, and it's increased quite a bit since then. It's currently sitting at about $55,000. If we come here, you can see my dividend income by industry. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see that better, but most of my dividend income is currently coming from the financial sector. Technology makes up about 14% of my dividend income, and then real estate's about 18.2%. Right here, you can see my dividend yield on cost. So I do have a few higher yielding positions, but I do mainly like to focus on dividend growth companies. Some of these companies, such as GSBD, this will likely be a position I sell out of as it really doesn't align with my long-term goals for my dividend portfolio. Now, the last thing we'll glance at right here is you can see my dividend income by stock. So right now, most of my dividend income is from ACRE, as you can see right here. We have Altria Group right here and JEPI. And while I don't have a large portion of my current capital in JEPI, I do have a little bit. And you can see 2 new positions right here, VICI, that's a real estate investment trust, and MPW, bringing in about $92.80, and Vici around 31.2. Now let's go ahead and jump over to my dividend calendar. And if you're not using a dividend calendar to track your dividend portfolio over time, then you're really missing out. This is a great way to track your monthly dividend income by each individual stock, and more importantly, it's going to allow you to see your dividend growth over time. So for example, you can see right here, I'm tracking my dividends from Realty Income Corporations, and because I reinvest dividends and I invest into dividend growth companies, you can see how each month the amount I get paid in dividends continues to increase. So this is a great visualization to see how your dividends are growing from each individual position. You can also see exactly what months you're paid dividends and from where. So for the month of January in 2023, you can see I received about $30 from ACRE, $16.98 from Goldman Sachs Business Development, $173 from MAIN, $32.39 from MO, $8.15 from O, $488, $375 right here, an $8 dividend payment from WHF, $23.28 from an ETF. And if we scroll down a little bit further, you can see I received $10 right here, $12.96 right here, and $1.52, which was my first dividend payment from CSCO. So overall, a pretty good month, and it was actually my highest month of dividend income ever. Again, if we jump back over to my dividend dashboard, I expect that to continue to increase due to the fact my expected yearly dividend income is almost to $2,000. Now let's go ahead and jump over to my daily dividend calendar, but before we do that, a quick word from our sponsor. You know, like I know, the investing world has turned upside down, and the most powerful stocks of our generation have lost over $5 trillion in market cap this year. And to help prevent further losses, many analysts are jumping on one major trend. McKinsey is calling it the Great Reset. High net worth investors and even major institutions are in part transitioning from traditional stock and bond portfolios. After all, the 60-40 portfolio lost around 25% in 2022. Now, 88% of financial advisors intend to increase allocations to alternative assets in the next 2 years, particularly physical assets that have historically resisted inflation, and there's a unique investment that's been around for centuries, one that may not fluctuate as greatly in response to government rulings. It's not gold, it's not real estate, it's contemporary art. So far in 2022, art market transaction volume is on pace to beat its pre-pandemic yearly record of $30.5 billion, and over the last 26 years, contemporary art prices have outpaced the S&P 500 by 131%. The last time inflation was near its current levels, contemporary art prices appreciated at an average yearly rate of 17.5%, according to the Masterworks All Art Index. Until recently, you'd need millions of dollars just for a chance to enter the market, but with our sponsor, Masterworks, you can invest in contemporary art for a fraction of the cost. They've done so well, they even sold 2 paintings since my last video. That brings their last 3 exits to net returns of 10%, 13%, and 35%. Over 620,000 people have signed up so far, but my subscribers get a free, no obligation account at the link in the description. Okay, so here on our daily dividend calendar, basically what we can do is we can see exactly how much we were paid in dividends each day of the month. So if we scroll down, here's what my daily dividend calendar for 2022 looked like. Again, you can see what month and what days you were paid in dividends and how much. And we can also see my highest day in 2022 was about $42.11. But let's go ahead and scroll up. We can see in January, it looks like I received dividends on the 3rd and the 4th. The 4th was a good day at around $21.10. The 10th was a good day at around $32.39. 18 also a good day at around $30. Then I had a big day on the 31st and 27th, around $17 and $10. So that's a pretty good month overall. Again, I'm focused mainly on dividend growth. So while some of these dividend payments aren't large right now, I expect them to grow quite a bit in the coming years. Now, the last thing that I do want to glance at is our portfolio projection tab. And essentially what this is this is a tool that I've created in order to project what my future dividend portfolio is going to look like 10, 15, 20, or even 30 years from now. So you can see the assumptions I have right here. And if we jump back over to our investment dashboard right here, scroll down, we can see a good future portfolio outlook, whether we reinvest dividends or don't reinvest dividends. In this scenario, let's go ahead and say that I choose not to reinvest dividends. We could see 10 years from now, I could still expect to be receiving around $18,850 a year in dividends and a portfolio value of about $543,000. If I do reinvest dividends over that same time period, I could expect to receive around $23,589 with a portfolio value of $685,000. Now let's go ahead and look at not reinvesting again, but from 20 years from now. 20 years from now, if I don't reinvest any dividends, I could still be making over $52,841 a year in dividends, which really goes to show you the power of dividend growth investing. My portfolio value could be around $1.5 million. Let's look at that same situation. If I do reinvest dividends 20 years from now, my yearly dividend income could be $85,000. That is truly unbelievable. And my portfolio value around $2.4 million. Now, 30 years from now, again, the last comparison we'll make, if we don't reinvest dividends, I could still be making $120,000 a year in yearly dividend income with a portfolio value of about $3.5 million. But this is where things get crazy. If I choose to reinvest dividends that entire time period, I could be making over $258,000 every single year in dividend income with a portfolio value of over $7.5 million. And that right there is one of the main reasons that I absolutely love dividend growth investing. And it allows you to compound your dividend portfolio at an absolutely unbelievable rate. Not to mention that it also provides consistent income, protection from inflation. It's a great sign of financial strength from quality companies. It's easy to diversify. And again, the main reason is always going to be the rate that your dividend portfolio will be able to compound on. So there you go. That's how much dividend income I made in the month of January. If you'd like to be able to download the spreadsheet, you can head over to my Patreon page at the link in the description. Seeking Alpha is also offering a huge discount at my link in the description if you're interested in their services. So that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.